The area that is being contested is between what is known as the Levant on the far eastern coast of the Mediterranean. You know that as Israel and a couple of other little states like Lebanon. Lebanon used to be called the Paris of the Middle East at one point. It was a very nice place. It is
Before
not a nice place
War,
anymore.
But
at one point it was incredibly beautiful.
Yeah. So was Iran.
Okay. Most people, yes, that is correct. Most people can't point to Iran on a freaking map. They can't. Point blank. Now, I'm going to share this tab instead. Bring this up here and bring us up a map. Here is our contested area. Now, you'll see Syria toward the middle there. Just below that is the Kingdom of Jordan, which has been around for infinity years. And then Israel is this sliver over here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the Mediterranean. This area of the world has been contested for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Since the beginning.
That's another show entirely. Yes, since the beginning, essentially. And you can see that most of this down here is desert. But over this way, if you go northeast, here's Tehran. And you can see how fertile this valley is on the Caspian Sea here. Along the Caspian Sea, you can see all the green. Iran is not a shitty desert country. They only show shitty desert country pictures of Iran because that's the propaganda they want you to believe. A lot of it's actually really nice, geographically speaking. But let's put a distance between these. We're going to go measure distance here, and then we'll go from Tehran to there. Okay, that's 1,000 miles, and it crosses Jordan and Iraq, which is not a small place either. Iraq's pretty freaking big. It's the ancient kingdom of Samaria, for those of you who are unfamiliar.
So
there's the contested. What's that?
It sucked when I was there.
I can believe it. I heard that the temperatures and everything are just bad. Please just shoot me now. So let's go to the area, the Strait of Hormuz, which is down here. Get rid of that. Don't need you. No thanks. I don't want to do any of that there.
Really good
okay, that's the Strait of Hormuz.
Now, hang on. That is a really good choke
point.
Watch
this. Yeah. And Iran controls this whole coast here. Bandar Abbas to Bandar Lege, Bandar Atab over there. And this is the island of Hormuz there. This is the country of Dubai, which is a super rich oil company. Or oil company. It might as well be an oil company.
Yeah, I got
oil country. Okay. They don't want their shipping screwed with. And the Straits of Hormuz is where they do all of their shipping. So you're going to have it contested with them as well. Then you get the United Arab Emirates, because this Persian Gulf here is where our ships are heading. You can see over here, this is the country of Oman, which is also extremely wealthy. The city of Muscat, which is obviously strategically important. It controls that little corner there into the Straits of Hormuz.
All right,
but
hang on.
That turkey neck, look at that fucking turkey neck, dude.
But here's the thing. What is the distance between the farthest point there to Iran when you look at that choke point?
That's Iran.
I know, but what is
this is Iran?
What is the width of that choke point?
What's the width of the choke point?
Yes.
Clear measurement. Don't do that.
Do it.
This choke point distance is measure a distance. Okay, at its narrowest, it appears to be 40 miles. And for a Navy ship, that's nothing.
Yes.
That is nothing.
But here's the thing, and this is just my evilness coming out.
Right.
Iran could literally shut that down and fire on any ship at that choke point from 3 or 4 different locations.
Now, watch this. This is the really scary part. Okay. This is the first dot that I put there, right there. That is roughly where we begin to become vulnerable to Iran. They've got to respect international waters to a degree. They don't always.
They go out 50 miles from the shore.
Yeah.
So technically,
so that gap is 40 miles.
Yeah. So
this is like a safety zone.
That whole choke point is owned by both Iran and that other country.
Now, in order to get into a reasonable position in the Persian Gulf, we have bases in Bahrain, we have bases in Qatar, we have bases in the Emirates. I don't know if we have any bases in Oman. We definitely have a base in Kuwait. But just to get to the Persian Gulf, our ships have to cover 833 miles, essentially.
The gauntlet.
That is 833 miles of exposure, including one 40-mile wide choke point. And most people are like, 40 miles, that's sort of large. Not when you're dealing with Navy vessels.
And listen, and when you're dealing with counter ship missiles that fly between
Mach 6.
Wow, 1.2 Mach and Mach 6 if they're using hypersonic.
Yeah, the hypersonics will do Mach 6.
You have zero time to react. Zero time at that speed.
A Tomcat will do 40 miles in something like, I think it's like 35 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. And when you're doing Mach 4, you'll do that in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to react to that.
That 40-mile gap might as well be walking through the door of a fucking closet. For all real purposes.
Well, you and I know in mount combat, you stand in the door, you're dead.
Yeah, that's the worst place in the world to be.
Fatal funnel.
Yeah.
Is the doorway.
Yep. Always get the hell out of that doorway.
And it's the same thing right here. That's a fatal funnel. If we're sending ships into the Persian Gulf right now, we are fucking up by the numbers.
Now, the big carriers can do, I believe, up to 40 knots, which is roughly 38 miles an hour at sea underway. But when they're going through this, they're going to be doing 20 knots. They're going to be doing like
half.
They're going to be doing like 18 miles an hour.
Yep. That is not that fast, man.
I can outrun an aircraft carrier in this stretch on my bike if you put me on a flat road. Okay, that's for perspective. I can go faster than an aircraft carrier on my mountain bike.
Yep.
Okay, that's the kind of perspective we're talking about here. So to say that 40 miles is wide, and then they got to go 832 miles through that gauntlet. Now let's see what they're pushing. This is like having a baby. You're pushing this huge object through this insanely small passageway.
Well, when you're talking about, hang on a minute, I got a dumbass truck out front.
Yeah.
All right. So when you're talking about a naval strike force or aircraft carrier assault force,
that's what we're going to be talking about right now.
Here's the thing, though, is they put the aircraft carrier in the middle, and then you have your inner and outer cordon rings.
Yes.
To protect that aircraft carrier.
And then you've got the tenders. The aircraft carrier doesn't carry all of its supplies. It has tenders. There'll be 3-4 of those.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you're going through a strait that's 40 miles wide, you're going to have to stretch your ships out for safety's sake, thus making the aircraft carrier, which is the quarterback, incredibly vulnerable to being sacked.
There is a historical reference, which I love, that applies to this, and it was when Varus, the Roman general, was forced to push his 3 Roman legions into a narrow corridor of prairie and swamp to pass through a hilly area on one side and a forest on the other that looked a lot like that map there, at which point the German tribes under Arminius slaughtered all of them.
Was that 3 legions?
That's the Teutoburg Forest.
Yeah.
Yep. That was 9 AD, but the basic pattern is the same. The basic pattern is the same thing. That kind of a pathway is what you're looking at.
Listen, this is not rocket science. Anyone with
classic ambush.
Well, yeah, it's a classic ambush. It's a classic to anyone with a 3rd grade education in tactics and war. Can look at that map and go, that is where, if I'm going to war and they're bringing in a fleet, that is where I'm going to ambush the shit out of them.
Right. Or if you are the guys on the ship, as you like to put it, no,
Yeah. I'm like, what? No,
No.
I don't think so. No, that's stupid.
No, we're not doing that.
But the thing with an aircraft carrier, they could project power from the starting point. They don't have to
Yes.
go into the
Yes.
Gulf.
Now, and like I said, we have bases there. So technically, if they could get permission to move through those airspaces, where are we again? That's small there for me. I'm looking at that. In the Emirates and Oman and Qatar and Bahrain. We know Kuwait's. We've got bases in Kuwait. We've had bases there since 1991. But if they can control this airspace over Oman, the Emirates, Qatar, and Bahrain, if they can control those airspaces, the Iranians won't be able to do a whole lot. Their fighters are pretty good, but I don't think they can match us ship for ship.
You're talking about their fighter jets?
They've got bunkers, dude. They're not dumb.
No,
we need to dispel a myth real quick here. We are not dealing with the Bedouin tribes here. The Persians, we're talking Xerxes, we're talking Darius, we're talking the people who invented chess. Okay, these are not primitive tent-dwelling sand people. The Iranians are an advanced culture, and to say otherwise is silly. They've just been taken over by a bunch of Marxist imams at the moment. They're having a shitty time, but these are not dumb people by any stretch of the imagination. They're probably the smartest people. They're the Japanese of the Middle East, like the Japanese and the Chinese, and you know that the Japanese are top tier, intelligence wise and accomplishments wise. The Iranians are the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, these are not stupid people. They invented chess.
This is the point I was getting at.
Okay.
Iran has spent a lot of their treasure on trying to get this nuclear warhead and the infrastructure needed to build these, to include the rockets. And in my opinion, just from what I'm seeing in regards to what's going on between Israel and Iran, is they have literally neglected key elements in that they would need for their military in that part of the world, like fighter jets. Now, granted, they do have some.
That's expensive. You have to be an economically top-tier country to really be able to afford a real Air Force.
I got you, but they would have been able to afford it if they didn't waste a lion's share of their money on this infrastructure to enrich uranium.
Okay, I only said they're not stupid. I didn't say they always make good decisions.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not saying they were stupid. I'm just saying that was unwise.
Yes, it was. It was a bad decision. So I want to go back to the map again real quick, if I might, because you're bringing up the Air Force thing, brings up a point, and how Israel manages to clear this airspace is beyond me. But they struck directly into Iran with their aircraft.
Correct.
We can do that because we've got advanced aircraft, and we'll stomp a hole in your ass if you try to shoot at us. But from Israel again to Iran, we're talking to Tehran. You're talking 1,000 miles. They've got to cover either Jordanian or Syrian airspace, definitely Iraqi airspace. You could make an argument, I guess, that they could fly through Saudi airspace because that's all desert down there. But my guess is the Saudis aren't going to be very keen on that. But then they'd still have to go through Iraq or Kuwait or go directly over the Persian Gulf. So air battles aren't really feasible for these two countries.
Well, I can guarantee you that Jordan and Iraq have been probably paid off to not make a huge stink over the fact that another country, i.e. Israel, which the Arabs don't like, is flying through their airspace unopposed.
Yeah. Either that or we threaten to withhold something. Because we give a lot of aid to that entire region.
Which I would love to see stopped.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.